like to invite each of the prosecutors, if they wish, to say a word or two.
I would just like to pay tribute to the Chautauqua Institute and the Robert Jackson Institute, and in particular to the wonderful audience that we've had. This Chautauqua really is quite a remarkable place. I'm sorry I found it so late in my life. But thank you very much for the interest, for the support, for the fact that you've remained.
We're saying thank you.
And thank you for putting on the great sound effect.
I'm David Crane. I didn't ask them. I'd like to just again thank David Crane for making it possible for this document to be signed and for all the absolutely essential work he's done to make this the great show that it has been.
I'll just simply state what I used to tell the people of Sierra Leone in my town hall meetings, and I would tell them that the law is fair, no one is above the law, and that the rule of law is more powerful than the rule of the gun.
I would also like to thank David and also the Jackson Center. Thank all my good friends, Greg and others who've made it possible for me to be with you here. We had an interesting debate when drawing up this declaration, and one thing that I insisted on, I hope I will be excused, but I'm sure they're also interested in it as much as I am, is the crimes, sexual crimes and gender crimes that are committed against women and girls in armed conflicts. I see that in as much as a lot has been done, we're really just scratching the surface till now. And I see also that, unfortunately, it is still happening. We're trying to do something about it, but it continues to happen. And I keep on giving the example of just recently what happened in the Democratic Republic of Congo about the rape of over 200 women and girls in the conflict. So I just say that we need to continue. We need to make sure that we continue calling for the investigation and prosecution of these crimes. We need to also, as prosecutors and even civil society, continue to draw attention to these crimes and continue to do what we should do to ensure that these crimes stop, because it is just not right. Like other crimes, but these are crimes that the debate is closed, that it is used as an instrument of war. And I think that the more we try to do about it, the better for society and for humanity. But I thank you for being here. I love this place, and I will come back.
Yeah. I hope also to be able to come back, and thank you very much for your interest in this very important but not really pleasant topic. As Fatou said, she has very much insisted on having one specific type of crime in our declaration, knowing that there are many others to be mentioned. From our tribunal perspective, I'm very happy that we have mentioned the 15 years anniversary of the genocide in Srebrenica, massacre committed in the middle of Europe 15 years ago, where, as you remember, it was initially a UN safe haven. When Serbian forces took over the city, the UN forces left. Men, children were separated, women and children were separated from men, and during several days, 8,000 men and boys were executed in a very brutal way. I had the privilege to go there for the first time in my life this year in my current function. Spent one day there with more than 150 survivors and victims. Heard many stories. Everybody, all the survivors, mothers showing pictures of their loved ones, victims having lost up to 40 members of their family, husband, father, sons, brother. Very difficult to imagine. And I remember one conversation with two survivors, two mothers who had both lost two sons, where one was saying, I am the lucky one of the two of us, because body parts of the two of my sons have been found in 5 different graves. and for the other one, she has still no idea where her loved ones are. What I want to say is that in fact for victims, it's not something which happened 15 years ago. For the victims, it's every day of their life also today. And it gives us, of course, a lot of energy to continue doing what we are doing. And when I asked, what do you want us to do? Their main concern was make sure that the responsible are arrested. And in our case, it's Mladic, who is still at large. And every time in the last 2 years, I'm speaking with politicians in Europe, in Washington or wherever, and when I have the impression that politicians want to forget, want to turn the page and want to move on, I'm asking them to go to Srebrenica, to speak with the victims, and to understand that there can be no alternative to the arrest of the fugitives, that there can be no alternative to the fight against impunity. And this is really one of the messages. I'm very, very happy that we have also in this year's declaration to say that it's the responsibility of the international community to have those arrests done. It's a question of credibility of the international community. So I'm looking very much forward to see all the colleagues and friends for the years to come, and that we continue together this very important fight for justice. Thank you very much.
Very briefly, the Declaration recognises the first verdict from the Khmer Rouge Tribunal, the Extraordinary Chambers in the Courts of Cambodia. As I explained to you yesterday, the court's unique out of all of these courts because it's actually a domestic court with international features. And whilst I was nominated for the position of prosecutor by the Secretary General, I was in fact selected by the government and interestingly appointed by the King. So I'm very conscious of the fact that in my position I am really speaking on behalf of the Cambodian people, the long-suffering people of Cambodia. So on their behalf, I thank my colleagues for expressly recognising this first milestone on the road to justice for the Cambodian people. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we conclude this ceremony and also adjourn the 4th International Humanitarian Law Dialogues, looking forward to the 5th event next year. Thank you.